My entire career as a metallurgist and a material scientist. And the advice that I got early on, I think I was an undergrad when I heard this, and I've pretty much stuck to it, is if you want to have fun in your career, go to where the most difficult problems exist. Don't run away from the hardest problems, run towards them. And if you do that, you'll be happy and fulfilled, and you'll have success and kind of an exciting career of doing relevant things.
We have done super progress in the last, let's say, 10 years, especially with regard to larger batteries for electric vehicles. I think we can really be proud of ourselves, both academia and industry. But I fully agree with you, it's not enough. We have to do better, okay? And of course, unfortunately, it's never disruptive in our technology. We know we have small steps, we are moving forward.
To me, energy is really the ultimate, at least in the inorganic sciences or the non-biological sciences, let's say, is the ultimate frontier at this point. That's where the big challenges are. That's where the big problems that need to be solved on a societal and kind of global scale.
The energy production is very, very well diverse. So you have petroleum, you have green energy, you have nuclear energy, and I would say mostly for the utilization. Of course, petroleum is very large because it's used for transportation, for electric vehicle. The nuclear is for generation of electricity, mostly in the United States, Europe, especially France. The renewable is coming up very strong, but it's still maybe less than 6 or 7% of the total energy used.
We're going through a big transition, across the world from fossil fuels to clean energy, but we still have a long way to go. If you look at many countries around the world, it's still probably 70%-ish of energy consumption and kind of the primary source being fossil fuels, that being coal and natural gas and oil. And you're seeing those strong pushes from many countries around the world to reduce that by using clean energy, renewable energy, linked with energy storage, trying to meet the demand, the growing demand of everything from electric vehicles to decarbonization of buildings to new data centers that are just driving the whole AI machine learning revolution.
It's not a trend, it's a deep purpose, and it's even much stronger than that. And that's where everything starts making sense. Being into the energy space, the renewables, the decarbonization is not a greenwashing, it's a deep purpose. We want to solve, and we are contributing to that. We want to solve the food security dilemma, but without any compromise on the climate change. And this is our deep purpose, our core belief.
Well, UM6P, Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, is today a top 500 university. It's been recognized as the innovative university, a university of research, and we are the flagship of research around this subject in Morocco, especially energy. We have many researchers working on this subject. We have many publications, we have many innovations, patents and patent applications. And so I think what we are creating here is a real hub for knowledge and knowledge transfer. And I believe that we will be playing a very important role for the energy transition in Morocco.
Yes, so there's this triangle, right? There is three things. There is performance, and I don't know how to shift this triangle, right? I don't know. I mean, they're all important, right? There's performance, there's cost, and there's safety, right? Safety and practicality, right? So you don't want your car to catch on fire, but you also don't want it to be in the shop every other week either, right? So, and I think, again, you can rotate this triangle any way you want. They're all important. And without any of those three things, you're not going to succeed, right? And as a material scientist, my role is to take this triangle and keep expanding it and expanding it and expanding it. So better performance, lower cost, earth-abundant materials, things that are practical, things that are fairly straightforward to process, and that are safe and reliable. And, if I can move the needle in all three, I'm happy, right? And I think that's what we need, right?
Absolutely. The supply chain is extremely important. And of course, the more you are going up the value chain or supply chain, the more you have chances also to get profit. Because the profits are not really in the raw material, the profits are really then in the final product. So that means the more you are, for example, Morocco is going up the values, that you're not only making, the raw material, but also makes a refined powder, which is then, the fine chemical, the better for you and the more profit you can make. That's one thing. So having an integrated supply chain is extremely important, but also I believe what is also an important thing and very often disregarded, both in technology development as well as in research, is that you have technology readiness level, okay?
Technology sovereignty is something that is a must for us. For us as a company, for us as a country, we cannot advance in such technical or technological applications without mastering the technologies. So that's for sure. Do we have lacks in technology expertise? Yes, let's be honest. I mean, from some areas, yes, we have lacks. But what would have been the worst lack if it would have been if we're not aware of that. But hopefully we're aware of that. So, and universities like UM6P addressing that challenge.
So if you really want to upscale, you have to do something which means that serious production. You have to consider that the scrap rate is low, because if you are really producing a lot and the product has a certain range in properties, that you have to put something away because it's waste, that's not really helpful. So TRL levels, technology readiness levels, supply chain is very important. And then finally, we also have to address the geographical hierarchies. So if you are doing something, for example, in Morocco, let's say here, around this area, so you have a mining here in Ben Guerir and surroundings, then this is good for Ben Guerir, okay? And then you are doing something maybe with this powders, which is maybe good for the region. And then you're doing something which is good for the country. And then you're doing something which is good for the continent, for Africa, okay? Thinking about these geographical levels and also taking the responsibility in this thinking, I think is extremely important, okay? And it needs good leadership and management at the same time.
Morocco is, I think, got a beautiful model on how to really transition off fossil fuels, use its hydro resources, its wind resources, its solar resources, integrate that into a really resilient and reliable grid, both from a transmission and distribution point of view, and also how to enable itself to meet its industrial loads. And so I think it's very interesting. It's both from an industrial loads perspective and kind of getting electricity to all people and electricity access. It has a great model and has a really good understanding of the challenges that the broader Africa has and how to bring the broader set of African stakeholders along as well.
We are pushing, we are creating all the partnerships necessary for that. We are training people, engineers and researchers to be able to work in this area. And I think that there is a very good awareness, healthy awareness of the need to be prepared for this market now and for the future.